Yo, what's going on, goons? We're back with a new video, and today I'm going to be going over my settings for Call of Duty Warzone. I play on keyboard and mouse, so I'm going to kind of go over everything because I know there's a lot of people that ask my specific settings. So whenever people ask, I'll send them this video right here so they can go through and watch. I'm pretty much going to go over everything, try to go over graphics, keybinds, pretty much anything to do with the settings, man. We'll get that thing going. But I'm going to do it in one cut. We're going to do it one cut, and we're just going to go over everything. And I guess if you have any questions or anything, just let me know in the comments, and we'll figure that out. Someone did just join my party, though. 1 second. Let me make sure my party is an invite only. All right. Sorry, brother. Let me leave this real quick. All right. To start off with the settings, let's go to keyboard and mouse. Obviously, I play on keyboard and mouse. I play on 10 mouse sensitivity, and I also use 1600 DPI. And if I go to the show more, I think this is all like default stuff. Nothing crazy here. This is all like the default settings for your mouse. And then 1.0 multiplier. You know, nothing really crazy here. Standard, look inversion. These two things are toggled off. And I go to advanced. I have my transition timing set to gradual, and then my sensitivity type set to relative. And I got the zoom off, precision. This I set to 1.33. That's pretty much everything there for the mouse. When I go to keybinds, and one thing I'll say about the keybinds is I wouldn't 100% copy someone else's keybinds. Try to figure out what works for you and what you're comfortable with, because some things I do, you might not like, you know what I'm saying? So obviously you have the standard WSAD for movement. I have auto tack sprint on, which you'll see later. That one definitely helps, and I would recommend that 100%. If you don't have automatic tack sprint on, definitely have that on. Auto move forward, H. So if I'm ever like doing stuff and I want to have my character run, I hit H and it keeps on running with my hands off the keyboard. Jump, obviously, space bar. Prone dive, I use control. Don't even use anything for that. Crouch and slide, I use C. So obviously when I'm sprinting, it will slide. If I'm standing still, it'll crouch. And then this I use for shift for, you know, tack sprint, focus, but I have automatic tack sprint on. So the only thing I really use this button for is if I'm like sniping, and I'll hold shift to make it, you know, focus in and not move around. So that's pretty much what I've got. Parachute, space bar, cut parachute, control or C. I mainly use C. Give up C, switch to third person. I mean, these are kind of, you know, just, I would keep these default. A lot of this stuff right here, I would just keep default unless you're really uncomfortable with it. Obviously, fire weapon, left click, aim down sight, right click, reload to R. Next weapon, this is something I use that I would recommend you use if you're down, is to switch my weapons. I use scroll wheel, and it, you know, it makes it so much easier. It allows you to like kind of like YY in a sense. I just go up and down on my scroll wheel like that, switches weapon, looks cool, and it's definitely a lot easier than having it set to an actual button on your keyboard. Mount is T. I don't really mount in the game, to be honest with you, so I don't really use that. Switching the fire mode, so if you want to tap fire automatic, don't really use that either. This is something I would recommend if you have a mouse that has buttons on the side. I would definitely set your melee to that. Makes it a little bit easier. I use my mouse buttons for melee and plate. Then you got lethal equipment, E, tactical equipment, Q, right beside your top finger on the keyboard. Armor plate, like I was saying, I have as one of my mouse buttons. Interact, F. And that's pretty much all you need, man. I mean, the rest of it, I would just keep default. I definitely would recommend having a mouse with buttons on it. That helps out a ton. Makes it so you don't have to do as much with your left hand on the keyboard. And then we go to movement. And that was for like all the keyboard mouse people. So like this is kind of applies for everybody, even if you're on controller. I would highly recommend you have tactical sprint assist on, so you automatically tack sprint. Mantle says I have that off. Crouch says I have that off. Corner slice, I have that off. I recommend having those three off for sure. Crouch behavior toggle. These are all preference. Prone toggle, sprint tactical behavior toggle. But that doesn't really matter because I use automatic tack sprint. Automatic airborne mantle. You can have that on or off. It's just kind of whatever you want to do. Definitely have the automatic parachute pull off. That definitely helps out a ton, in my opinion. So I would have that off without a doubt. Sprint restore on. Slide maintain sprint on. Mantle cancels reload. Definitely have that one on. There's so many times where, you know, I'm trying to mantle and or I'm reloading, I'm trying to mantle, and I'm glad that I have that on, because if I didn't, it would be a pain. And have these two on as well. And now if I go to the advanced settings, these you can kind of see. Let me see if there's anything really important to have. Let's see. Not really, man. I mean, All these right here, if you want to copy it. If you don't, that's up to you. That's just what I have. These might all be default. I'm not 100% sure. Vehicle, that doesn't really matter. And then we go to combat. Aim down sight, hold, obviously. ADS and melee for attack stance. Attack stance is good for some guns. Some guns it's not good. It just kind of depends. Interact behavior, press. Hold melee. Dedicated melee. Weapon activation, hold melee. Body shield, I have it as prioritized finishing move. You can prioritize it as body shield, whatever you want to do. Equipment behavior, hold. Weapon activation, weapon mount toggle. If I go to the advanced settings, let's see if there's anything in here that's important. Sprint cancels reload, I have that off. I don't really use C4s. Don't really use that. Akimbo, not really. So these are all kind of basic. And let's see, go down here, overlays, behavior, no, nothing really crazy there. Controller, don't really use a controller, so if you're a controller player, you might want to find another video for that. Graphics, now I play on a pretty low-end PC. It's nothing crazy. I am going to get a new PC probably soon here, but you know, my PC is definitely a few years old, so I don't run the craziest graphics. I have it pretty minimal. I run full screen borderless. I play on, you know, 3070. That stuff. VSync off. Custom frame. I just have that limit all the way max. You could minimize it if you wanted to. And I think that's pretty much all I've changed on this tab. And then quality, I have mine set to 1920 1080p. Have this down, and I try to have everything as low as I can with the game looking decent, so it doesn't, you know, overload my PC. And I have. Let's see if I have up with this. This is off. Okay, off. I have this on. This set to 70. These, you know, I guess I kind of do have some of them set higher than I thought, but that's all up to you. I could turn these down probably more and get some higher FPS, but it all depends on the system you play. And if you have a high-powered PC, then you can have these on high or ultra high. All of them I would recommend. But these, I could definitely bump these down. I didn't realize I had all these on high. That might help my FPS out, because right now at 120, 130 around there in the pregame lobby. When I play a game of Rebirth, I have like around 100. So maybe if I bump some of these down, it would get up to like 130, 140 possibly. But I could try that out. Motion reduction preset, I have that off. Field of view, obviously you have that set to 120. Affected ADS field of view. Weapon field of view have as default. Third person field of view 90. Default for that. Definitely turn off motion blur and weapon motion blur. That's gonna make your game look a lot better. Have the camera movement be the least, so your screen doesn't shake as much. Third person ADS transition. No idea what that is. Inverted flashbang, you have that on or off. Depends if you want a black screen or a white screen whenever the flashbang goes off. And then I have this set to first person. That goes over all the graphics. And then if I go to audio, this is probably the last tab I go over. Interface doesn't really matter. Audio, I have this set to 100, but then I have music volume off. I have cinematic volume off. I have this set to pretty much 50-50. So just kind of play around with that if you want to. I don't really care about listening to music in the game or the cinematic music. So, but if you do, then have it on. I have enhanced headphone mode on. I have it set to sucker punch. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Sucker punch. That's what works best for me. I would recommend it. I can hear footsteps pretty well. And, the gunshots and stuff aren't too loud. Have this toggled off. These two toggled off. Asymmetrical hearing compensation. I have that on. And then, yeah, this is off. This is set to default. And then if I go to voice chat, this is all kind of like your own preference as well, obviously. I push to talk on, I use my foot pedal, and then this is all like just configuring your audio settings and whatnot. And then let's see interface if there's anything that I would recommend. No. I mean, if you want to copy this, you can. That's up to you though. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all the settings. I don't know if I miss any, but if I am, let me know in the comments and I'll try to help you out. But I wasn't really trying to, I'm not like a Call of Duty pro, settings pro, whatever you call it. But there are a lot of people that ask me for settings, and especially the ones that play keyboard or mouse. So if they're asking, I can send them this video link, and hopefully it will help out. And if you guys could drop a like and leave a comment if you found this useful or anything. I do plan on getting a new PC, like I mentioned, in the next couple weeks. So once that comes in, I'll definitely be bumping up all the graphics and hopefully get some higher FPS. But, you know, with that being said, we're on the YouTube grind. We're trying to hit YouTube partners. So every view, every, you know, watch hour really means a lot and helps out a ton. And I appreciate all the support on the YouTube channel. We're going to keep the grind up. I'm going to start posting some more variety kind of videos on the channel, hopefully here soon. But I definitely want to get this settings video out just so people that ask could see it and watch it and, you know, maybe copy some settings if they wanted to. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.